Back with more Dollhouse. This is episode 10 of season 1, and I'm really excited to carry on with the season, getting closer and closer to the end, and the last few episodes have just been crazy. Like, I'm really enjoying the show and where it's going. It's just such a clever idea, and I've been loving what they've done with the whole kind of concept of it. And last episode was really great. You know, Paul found out that Melly was like a sleeper agent, finally, and we kind of found out that Lawrence was a spy. So that all came out. He got sent to the attic, and the episode was kind of structured in loads of different ways to kind of focus on the 4 main actives we've kind of been introduced to over the course of the show. And we're kind of seeing Echo is still kind of evolving of her own accord. So things haven't been like entirely fixed after the events of episode 8, which is really cool to see. And we got a lot more insight into Adele as a character as well. And saw a bit of more of a vulnerable side to her, which I really liked. So yeah, great episode, and I'm just really loving this season so far. Can't wait to see what's going to happen next. So let's get into it.
Hey, Jack.
Oh.
Where's Margaret?
She turned into a horse. The horse is inactive.
Margaret, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you. You're dead.
Oh. Well, that's a lot to take in.
Echo's out, though?
Yep.
What's she,
Having trouble letting go, Papa Bear. Aw. We put a dead lady in her.
So we can give you life after death?
Only if we really like you. Hey, Boyd?
That's an interesting concept to use it for.
I need an active.
What?
Oh.
Why?
Stunning. Really?
That must be
Last
so
thing
weird.
I remember
Like,
is coming here
your
a
dead
month
friend
ago
in a
for
different
that
body.
dreadful process of yours. Did being young feel this good?
I seem to recall it was rather nice. I wonder why we gave it up.
Please. You're what, 10 years younger than me?
And oddly 15 years older. Just remember, it's temporary.
Just a chance to indulge my curiosity.
that must be weird when you have
See
to
my
like
funeral?
let her go
Like that.
and have the treatment.
We've got a funeral to go to. Then maybe you can help me wrap this up.
Wrap this up? Your life?
Well, I thought maybe I'd solve my murder.
Oh. Heavy.
And have the scan so you could come back and solve your own murder.
I like a puzzle.
Are you certainly ready for this?
Oh man,
Of course.
that's nuts.
Come on, let's go in. I used to say I'd be late for my own funeral, but I didn't mean it.
Oh hey, I know that actor. He did it.
Not a bad turnout.
He did it. He did it. She did it. I did it.
Oh.
Oh.
Benefit.
You never met my husband, did you?
He is young.
Ugh.
When I met him, I stopped becoming such a regular customer at the Dollhouse.
I can see why.
I was a lucky woman
Oh.
until recently.
Yes. Tell me you got Speed Force 3.
And downloaded the bonus maps. Appetizers.
Word.
Has he just like made himself a best friend?
Lose an eye.
Wholesome content. Oh.
You're a better cook than you think.
Depressing content. Oh god. Getting her DNA or something.
Mom wasn't exactly a bundle of warmth. She tended to push people off. Like a bulldozer.
She did like to befriend complete strangers for short outbursts and have them stay for the weekend
Oh,
wearing
boy.
all of my clothes.
Bulldozer?
That wasn't a stranger. That was Camille.
Well, she was a
Debade.
stranger
That's
to
awkward.
me, and she was rude.
Margaret could be awful, but so can I. And from what I can gauge, the two of you are hideous. So come on.
Well,
Seen our mother.
what a loving family.
Turned to stone. You may be here to mourn Margaret Bashford. But the rest of us, we just live here.
Ouch.
Comfort you.
You are?
Inside, she told me that
If he makes a
you
move on
cried
her,
over all your pains.
I might die
And she
of
thought,
cringe.
handsome, confident man.
No, no.
Gonna
I don't,
inheritance like I got? Not exactly worth killing for, is it?
Oh. I don't think it was him anyway.
illusions aren't worthless. They're at the heart of most relationships.
I suppose you'd be out of a job if they weren't.
We'll figure this out.
True.
Of course.
I like how that kind of relates
I should have
to
stayed dead.
her and Vic in the last episode. Oh boy. Update on my thoughts. I have no fucking idea who it was.
I've looked into the horses. One of them, King's Ransom, was a Derby contender not long ago.
So the husband stands to make a bundle.
So does the buyer.
Oh.
I thought I'd send someone to take a look around the stables. A breeder with a naturally curious streak.
Oh, Boyd's taken to his new job. Just fine, I think.
Glad to meet you. Thanks for coming all the way out here.
She never came to a single one of my exhibitions.
You're serious about that?
Oh. It's kind of sad, really.
That was very bad of her.
Learning all these
I
things
know
that she
what
could have
to say.
done,
All
and
of
it's
her
too late to
lectures
do them.
about being practical.
Oh my God, it's her. How do we access the file?
Polly Keller.
Oh my God.
Shit.
They're gone.
What just happened?
Oh.
I just started to believe you.
Oh boy, the dramatic turn away.
Earth identical gravity and...
What you're doing is sick. Wearing her perfume, trying this summer stock seduction.
Oh shit.
Tell them I'm selling the horses because I can't stand the constant reminder of the woman I love.
Oh.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Sort of. Just recently.
Margaret and I moved into this house when we were kids. She just looked at my face, and I looked at hers. And we just both knew there was no reason to stay mad. Here's to you, Margaret.
If that's the truth, it's very
I
sad.
guess I was the lucky one. Nicholas would be coping with this better if he'd talked to her about his debts and all that. Addiction. Not for the faint of heart.
Oh shit.
In a world where all men are guilty until proven dead, one man stands as our only hope in the fight against them.
Yeah. This is me.
I like being with you. I love it, actually. And you say everything's fine, so I'm going to stop asking if it is.
Oh boy. Should you be doing that? I don't know. After everything he's learned about her, maybe this isn't the right move. As much as I thought they were adorable. Oh.
Did you think I wouldn't recognize my own mother? Mother.
Oh shit. Oh.
It was definitely after I tried to kiss you.
Oh. Well, I should hope so. Okay. Well,
Oh.
it'll be all right.
This is really sad, but it's kind of nice that they have this time.
Part of me was relieved because you never knew. But now, I just want you back.
Aw.
You were taken from me too soon.
You really think you could hide this with a little clomiphene citrate? I mean, masking agents can't hide themselves, you know? If I wasn't looking for it, I might have been fooled, but I ain't a baby in this freaking business. You're going for a money grab. Sort of pass that horse off as race ready. Race
Oh.
his value. He looks that way now, but a couple weeks without that stuff, he'll be put to pasture.
Oh god, don't upset the horses. Oh dear. Oh Jesus.
Oh, God. Whatever he gave to King's Ransom, that's what he used on me.
Yeah.
Now we just have to think.
If I went in...
She has a new handler. You're going to have to get used to it.
Oh boy.
Yes, I guess I am. One other thing, Mr. Witt. Are you aware of this Topher situation?
Yes. And sometimes the people who most need to reach out are the people least capable of it.
Aww.
In any case,
Is it his birthday or something?
it only happens once a year.
Once a year. Oh, it's his birth. Oh, that's really sad. Does he really have no other friends? Oh.
How he'll use the same masking agent he's been doping the horses with to... Jack didn't know much about them.
We have to hurry.
No, it was him, wasn't it? It was the son.
How would he learn how to drug a racehorse?
He must have had help. It's not that hard to find someone with that type of knowledge, you know? He must have,
He asked her to do that to frame him, so he'd get away with it.
Oh, Mother. You can never let things lie.
Shit.
It's gonna sting a little.
Oh. Oh, yes. Son of a bitch.
I hope she didn't know the truth about her son. It
Aww.
would have killed her.
It did.
Oh. Oh god, this is so sad.
I would love to say a few things to each of you before I go.
Oh, that's really sad. I love how that's all kind of sorted out.
Last night. So you're gonna do more hunting today? For Dollhouse clients?
I found one.
Fuck. I feel like this is going to get aggressive, and I'm not here for it.
I tried to show her as best I could that she was my favorite person. Plain and simple.
This is feelsy.
But I'll never know if she believed me.
I have a feeling she did.
That's so sad. Oh, it hits me in the heart. Oh, this is actually really sad. I'm actually getting really ill.
Addie. Yes. Well, I see my whole life flash before my eyes.
Every single moment.
Oh, that's really sad. Oh, fuck. Really, really great episode. Really loved it. It was just one of those stories that really hit me in the heart. Like, I just have a whole thing about, like, losing someone and them having another chance to, like, say a final goodbye, all that kind of thing. All those kind of stories always really get me. I think this was a great example of that, and I like how it was kind of going back to the formula that we had near the start of the season, with us just following like the main mission, I suppose, that Echo was on, and then we had a few kind of subplots running through it, which I think after the plot heavy episodes we got the last couple of times, I think it was cool that we had that to break up everything in terms of like structuring the season, so I really liked that. And the whole idea of like the Dollhouse providing a bit of life after death, and Echo being like implanted with a dead woman who then goes on to solve her own murder, I think it was a genius idea. I loved it so much. That would have been interesting enough in itself, but then to tie the client to Adele personally and have them be, you know, good friends, just added that other layer to it. That made that final scene so sad. When Adele was like holding her hand. Oh, just thinking about it's really getting to me. I love that final little sequence. And like how brave of Margaret to, you know, let go like that at the end. I think that's really quite something. But she'd made her peace with all her loved ones, so that was cool. But I loved the whole kind of murder mystery element they used to tell the story with. I like murder mysteries, and like keep guessing and everything. So I really liked that, all the twists and turns along the way. I didn't really think it was going to be the husband, so I wasn't surprised. Well, I was a bit surprised, but I wasn't completely shocked that it was the son, and the whole reasons for doing it, his like debts and everything. So that it all tied together, I think, really nicely. And I like how we kind of this whole episode really was about Margaret, about this character who's probably only going to be in this one episode, with all these other characters we've gotten to know and stuff. It's kind of crazy that all the plot-driven stuff for the most part was about her, which is really interesting in itself. And through this whole kind of murder mystery thing, her coming back to the dollhouse, she can see her own legacy, and that's something people, won't get to see when they die. How people deal with their deaths and how they move on and how they've truly felt about the people who have died. So I love that kind of a whole exploration and kind of exploring Margaret's different relationships with all her family and her brother and her children and her husband. I think that was really, really cool. Really, really cleverly done. And some great kind of character-driven stuff there. And seeing Margaret now have the chance to kind of make amends with her brother, which she did just before she died, which was really nice. But then also kind of make amends with at least her daughter, shall we say, at the end, and with her husband as well. And let him be at peace, and kind of... She's still dead, but through dying a second time, I suppose, she got the chance to fix things before she died. And I really like that kind of whole idea of like the second chance to like fix her will, patch things up with people. I think it was just a really beautiful thing. It was just a really, really beautiful story. I really, really liked how they told it, and Adele's personal connection to it. The scene of them kind of laughing at the funeral together and like pointing out all the family members was really funny. And yeah, just that emotional gut punch at the end when Adele's there to see Margaret off the last time. I really did buy that they were like old friends, so that was a really nice thing. Just a really beautiful kind of story. Really poignant, really sad and heartbreaking. And it kind of just, gets you thinking about what people will miss about you when you're gone, if they will miss you. And just consider your legacy as best you can. So I loved what everything this episode did with that particular story. I think it was such a beautiful thing to do. A really nice story to tell, and I really loved it. And again, I feel like we're seeing more vulnerable sides to Adele in recent episodes. Like with that final scene, she was clearly, really upset to be losing her friend, and she was really shaken right from the start about her friend's death. But the whole idea that Margaret kind of knew it was coming, I really enjoyed. And, her then writing notes in her own handwriting to kind of patch things up and get things sorted, I thought was genius. So that was all great. Just seeing Margaret through the eyes of her family compared to her own eyes and Adele's eyes, I think was a really great comparison. So it wasn't so much about, the dollhouse and the effects of that. It was just about this woman and not about necessarily what an active can do to make a situation better, because it was the client herself who was kind of sorting things out and solving the mystery and saving the day, which is a really interesting kind of twist on the formula that we've had so far. Then everything with Paul and Melly, I feel like this is getting really twisted and messed up. Like, at the same time, I think they're really adorable together, but I feel like this isn't going to end well now. Now he knows everything about Melly, and he knows all the different identities she's had, and he seemed to be very kind of rough with her near the end of the episode, and it seems like that's not going to be stopping anytime soon. I feel like this could be getting quite dark. So I kind of need to take my shipper goggles off, I think, at this point, because I don't think that's going to end well. But I am interested in seeing where they go with that whole story with Paul, and if he's going to get any closer to finding the dollhouse, because now he knows he has an active in his vicinity, and the dollhouse doesn't know how close he is to finding them out. Things are kind of shifted in his favour a bit. So I'm kind of nervous to see where they're going to go with that, but excited nonetheless. But I do kind of think Melly's kind of a cinnamon roll, and I don't want her to get hurt. But at the same time, Adele can just flick a switch and she could rip Paul's head off probably. But we'll see where it goes. But I am interested in seeing if they take it as dark as I think they might go with that story. And then I really liked Boyd's role in this episode, him, you know, dealing with his new role, and I think he's suiting it quite well, but he's clearly missing kind of being Echo's handler, and there's still a lot of care there, which I really liked, and Adele even telling him, you know, you need to get used to not being her handler now. But he was still offering his services anyway, which I really enjoyed having the case, and granting Topher permission with his like little project, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, I loved everything about his role in this episode. I think it was really interesting seeing him take on this new role, but still kind of struggling to let go in a way that Margaret didn't, which is kind of an interesting parallel. And then Topher and Sierra started off like a really wholesome, funny plot, and I really liked that as like a side, like a subplot for the episode. I think it was really funny. Then like playing like laser tag or whatever together and just hanging out and being best friends. Then it turns out it was just something that Adele lets Topher have really once a year for his birthday. Because it seems kind of like Dr. Saunders. I don't think he really has a life outside the Dollhouse, which is really sad. But he has spent his life kind of devoted to this equipment, and if he can kind of reap some of the rewards of that without causing too much harm, you know, I think that's fair enough. But it's really sad to think that he may not really have anyone else outside the Dollhouse. But yeah, I really loved their scenes with Topher and Sierra. I think they were really funny. And it was nice to kind of have more of a light-hearted storyline for like the first bit until we kind of got the reveal of how sad it truly all was. It was nice to kind of have some light-hearted scenes to break up the tension. So that was great. And I also liked what this episode had as like the idea of inventing like a friend and inviting best friends. Because we had the connection already with Margaret and Adele. That was pre-established. But then we kind of found out that Margaret had invented this friend as a means to use that identity to solve her murder after she was killed. So I really liked that idea of like the invention of a, you know, best friend. And we saw Topher doing exactly the same thing, inventing a best friend and implanting it into Sierra. I think that was a really clever idea. And it was cool seeing like Victor get involved in things very briefly. But yeah, I really liked how the episode kind of handled two different versions of creating your best friend. Kind of, I suppose they were both in the end somewhat positive experiences, but almost two ends of the spectrum at times as well. Because Margaret went through a lot of pain, I think, like seeing what her family really thought of her for the most part. But she got to make amends, which is important. Whereas Topher, I suppose, is kind of a sad ending, because I can't imagine how awful it must be every year when he has to kind of give the treatment and his like best friend's gone, who he just spent the day celebrating his birthday with. I think that's kind of really sad, actually. But yeah, I liked what that episode kind of did with that concept. But yeah, overall, love this episode. Really, really great. Really emotional at the end. That really got to me. Some interesting kind of plot threads in the background, mainly for like the whole season as an arc, and then a really interesting and beautiful story with Margaret, and just another really clever way of kind of using the Dollhouse technology to tell a really engaging story. So yeah, love this episode. Really, really good stuff, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen as we head into the final 3 episodes of the season. So yeah, until next time, thanks for watching.